Hello there, everybody. Today we are going to dive into personas. So, what are personas? Why are they important? I guess we'll start there. Personas are basically your target buyers and all of their demographic, firmographic information. So, these are basically the top of the top in terms of people that we want to reach out to, or we could also think of it as just a group of people, right? So, let's talk about how we're going to go and craft a persona. So let's use a hypothetical here. Let's say that I am working at a SaaS company that sells localization software. Okay, so translation localization software. We help companies translate words, and translators around the world do things easier or better. I'm not sure, but we are going to be targeting marketers at global companies, right? So that's how we have to start thinking about this. Job titles. Word of caution, everybody. Be very careful with using job titles, specifically, exact titles here. Okay. I much prefer going through both management level and departments and job function. Here's why. Let's say that I'm reaching out to marketers, and a lot of the marketers that use localization platforms or purchase them for their company, right? Let's say that their title is actually growth, and I forget to put growth in my titles here. Now, those people would not surface in a search result. And quick example here: I had a client that had a persona list with 5,000 people on it yesterday. We took out all of the individual titles. We went down into departments and job function, which we're going to do in a second, and that list jumped to 20,000 people in the same demographic, firmographic scenario, right? So who are we going to sell this to? We're probably going to be reaching out to VPs, heads, directors, managers. And if it's a global company, we're probably not going to reach out to the C-suite, but let's just say we want to reach out to a couple CMOs. Now, I would then come down to departments and job function, and instead of going CMO, marketing director, marketing manager, marketing coordinator, blah, 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 I'm just going to come down here. I'm going to look at marketing. Now, there's a couple ways we can go about this, right? I can say all of marketing, right, which is a ton of people. I can also say things like, I don't know, maybe e-commerce marketing, demand generation. I could say customer experience. That's probably a strong one there. Content marketing, brand management, right? So these are all things, probably digital marketing as well. Anyway, these are all areas that have the potential, in my mind, of being an attractive prospect for localization companies. So we took in the management level, we took the departments, right? The industry and keywords that we're going to be reaching out to are probably going to be, let's say, software and information tech and services. And what else are we looking for here, guys? We're looking for global brands, right? So we have to think what other accounts kind of fall into this. Now, since we're selling a software, we probably want to stick with software companies here on this. But this would require going through every single one of these, and it's worth it, and you should do it for your business, and pick every industry that's going to be relevant. And then what you can do is you can include company keywords. So let's flip our example here. Let's say we're doing fintech, right? We want to include all the computer software and information technology people, but we also want to limit that to, let's say, fintech, financial technology, so on and so forth, right? Now, the location, obviously key here. We can do either on the account side or we can do on the contact side. We can also exclude. And then the size of the business is obviously going to be dependent on what you're selling, the price point, and other factors like deal length and ACV, all that good stuff. Okay, since this is global though, let's just think through it, right? We want the big companies because they have a bigger global reach, hypothetically. So we can go ahead and save that persona, right? And once we do that, now marketing leaders, and we're going to say 100 to 10K plus, and we're going to say, we didn't do location. We're going to say manager through C-suite, right? And then we're going to say marketing departments. Okay, so this makes life really easy for us guys, because now whenever we're looking to find net new contacts, right, we can come right into a search, and instead of having to redo that every time we come in here, we can also use save searches. We're going to get to that in a little bit. We can just very easily select our personas, marketing leaders. I like this naming function here, guys, just because it keeps, you can see how these get a little bit duplicitous, right? But if we do that, we can come in here, we can see our 1900 people. This is a enterprise account that I'm on, so I'm able to select all 1800 and find them, right? On the $99 plan, I believe you can only do up to, yeah, you can only do up to 100 at a time. Make sure you take advantage of this as well. Max people per company. In these large accounts that we're reaching out to, right, there might be 20 people at Microsoft that fit this description, or just an example, right? We don't really want to flood our saved contacts list, because then we're going to have to re-enrich them after a period of time if we don't reach out to those prospects. All right, anyway, that's a quick look at personas, why they're important, how you build them. And when we do plays, we're going to get into how we play off of personas to automate a bunch of our tasks. Okay, thank you, everybody. Talk soon.